How about that? Can you hear us yet? Hello everybody. Hopefully you've been able to lip read me for the last few minutes. What I was trying to say, and hopefully you can hear me now, so let me know if you can actually hear me. I'm trying a bit of a new setup, so it's all a bit new to me. It wasn't working properly, and about 30 seconds before I pressed the go live button, it just went and everything kind of collapsed. So I have been running around trying to make sure that everything is actually plugged in, and hopefully you can now hear me. So for the last 10 seconds, or last 2 minutes, it's because I've been on mute. So a hangover from my actual job where I join conference calls all day long, and then there's always somebody that's sitting there on mute. So you can hear me now, thank goodness for that. Does it sound okay? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Let me know. Like I say, I am still playing around with things at the moment. Sounds good, looks good. No sound again? Are you just taking the pee? Anyway, we've come to that time of the week where I've realised I've not actually got a video prepared, so I thought I best do something, or YouTube is going to hate me and the algorithm is going to kick off and it'll send me back to the doldrums again. So I thought, I don't know, I'll go live, we'll have a bit of a live stream. We'll add some prizes to the prize bag a bit later on maybe, so let me know if you're already entered. Let me know in the chat, see if you've tell me if you've already entered, and by all means go ahead and put in hashtag AA10K if you want another chance to win. I've not really got a plan, so I know a lot of you took the P last time because I had a little notebook where I had written down some topics. Today I've got absolutely nothing, so we're just going to be winging it somewhat. I thought I'll take you through some of the things that I've been doing this week. Some of the things. What's going on? Can you not hear me? I'm gonna crash on, assuming you can all hear me now at least. So yeah, like I say, I'm just going to wing it tonight. Have a bit of a chat with everyone, see how everyone's doing, take you through some of the jobs I've been doing, some of the jobs that I've got planned that I've still not quite got round to, and you know, just see how we get on. If you are going to enter, make sure you put in the hashtag, so hashtag AA10K, because if you don't put in the hashtag, then you won't be entered, because the way I'm going to do it is I run a little script that will pull out the comments from all my videos, whether it's YouTube, Instagram or Facebook page, and it just looks for that little phrase, hashtag AA10K, and it will grab them all out and put them into a random number generator, and that's how we'll pick the winner. Right, I don't need any messing, Callum, thank you, but it's just, like I say, this was all a little bit last minute for me, so I wasn't really sure what was going on, and I can't see out my glasses. Why are they so dirty? Bear with me, this is very unprofessional of me. I'm sure you're all expecting much higher standards for professionalism, one of those words. But if I can't see what buttons to click, this is going to go downhill fast. So let me just clean my glasses. I've got myself a little wipe. And if you're new here, the AA10K thing, the hashtag, the competition and the giveaway, this is all because I'm nearing on 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm sorry if this is really noisy, but I need to be able to see to be able to do the things. Yes, what we're on at the moment, 9,700, so we've got 300 to go before we do the giveaway. And the way that we'll be doing the giveaway is I'll do a live stream as soon as I get past the 10,000 mark. I'll schedule a live stream for that day, hopefully, assuming that nothing else is going on. And we'll do a live stream. I'll talk you through the way that I'm working out how to pick the winner, go through all the prizes. I've just realised I've not actually brought in the prize box, so I'm going to struggle to show you that. If any of my family, never mind, I'll go and get it in a minute. I'll talk you through the prizes. I'll talk you through the way that we'll pick the winner, and then we'll give it away worldwide. Anyone can enter, many entries as you want. One entry per video, but as many videos or comments or posts as you want, you go for it. I'm saying worldwide. I really hope someone in Britain wins it, because it's going to end up being quite heavy, and probably cost me a small fortune in postage. But like I say, I don't say actually, do I? The predictions are that we'll get there either just after New Year or just before. I'm really hoping we get there before, because that was my goal, was to get to the 10,000 before we get to the end of the year. So if we do that, might not get your prizes for Christmas, but you can call it a Christmas present. I've got some really good things in there at the moment. We've got some JBL stuff. We have, in fact, I'm going to have to go and grab it so as we can have a quick look at it. And while I'm gone, you can marvel at some of this stuff before I start the hard sell on you in a minute. But bear with me a second and I shall come back. Talk amongst yourselves. Just ripped the button off my good shirt trying to get out the door. Don't know if you heard that, but I've just ripped the button off my good shirt trying to get out the door. So here we have the prize bag as it is so far. This is just something, every now and again companies send me things to review or to have a look at or to try and plug or whatever it might be. So I'm siphoning off some of them, give them back to you guys so you can have a share in the wealth, as they say. So these are JBL ProScape S16 springs. They're little clippers. They're really good, these. Really quite expensive as well. But they're just like little tweezy pincers. Really good. We've got them. We've also got the JBL tongs. I mean, go and look this stuff on Amazon. You'll see it's good premium quality stuff. We've got the cleaning glove. I've already got one of them, so I thought, well, you can have another one. We'll stick that in there. We have this plant starter. It's like a water conditioner for plants. What else have we got in here? And then these hose clips. So these are things that you stick on the side of the buckets. I prefer to just flood my room every time I do a water change with a bucket, so if you don't, then that'll stop it for you. We've got some tropical granules from a company called, can you see that? Is it going to focus? Proquatics. It's probably not going to focus on it. Fairly local to me actually. It's a kind of one-man band type deal, fish shop, and they sell a lot of stuff online. But yeah, give them a shout out as well. They sent me, I actually won this in a prize on one of the Facebook groups, so I thought I'll stick that in there as well. And then we've got an Amazon gift voucher, so even if you're not a fishy person, you can still go on Amazon and win something. So it's a gift card from Amazon that was donated by the same people who gave me those Endler guppies. What they called Aquadiction, something like that. Aquadix. I should really have this. Aquadition. I can't remember what they're called now. That's my rubbish memory. If you're in the chat, let me know. I'll give you a shout out again. Proquatics run by Dan Collins. Yes, I think that's the gentleman's name. Doncaster, aren't they? Anyway, let's go back. So that's what we've got in the prize bag so far. I don't think I've put anything else in yet, but we'll be adding to this tonight and we'll put some more stuff in. Let's go back and have a quick look in the comments. How many people have we got in? 54 people with only 9 likes. Now the Facebook algorithm dictates I tell you all to click that like button, if you will. So we've got lots of AA 10Ks, that's great. Lots of people taking the piss out of me for saying the sound's rubbish and they can't hear anything, as you would expect. Did I find a home for them old tanks, or did the wife skip them? No, a guy from Leicester, I think came up and bought them. So yeah, I made some money out of that, and then my kids spent it for me. That's the old tanks that I had in the fish room. So if you've had a look at my last video, I think, or the one before, I replaced my small tanks with some new ones, and got rid of the old ones, managed to make 20 quid out of it. So I did quite well. Tam says he's got some new bloodfin and rummy nose tetras for the aquarium. They get on well with my betta. Rummy nose tetras, they're one of my favourites, especially as a discus keeper. I think they look great. They school really well, or shoal, I can't remember which one it is. They stick together really well and swim nicely together. We've got Simon in the house. So you'll see these people that have got the little badges with my logo next to it. That's the folk that have joined. They've become members. And I've let you all down terribly by not posting much content recently, but I will get back on top of that. But thank you very much for joining, everyone that has. It's very much appreciated. I didn't watch Scotland in the rugby today. I got a little bit of the football last night, the night before, so that's pretty good. Scotland going to a major championship for the first time in living memory. No, not living memory, but a long time. What's the best fish shop in Sheffield? I'm struggling to find a good one, says Ollie. Me too. My closest one, I think, is Elm Lane Aquatics. It's fine. It's quite a limited selection though. It's quite a small shop, and I don't want to slag anyone off because it's tough times for the bricks and mortar shops these days. But yeah, I think they're struggling as much as anyone else is. The best one I've said, it's not actually in Sheffield, it's in Rotherham. There's the Sustainable Aquatics. I've done a video on them recently. Really enjoyed that place. Again, quite small, but they've got good ethics behind their ideas. They're trying to do everything sustainably, as the name would suggest. Which, even if they don't achieve it completely, it's an admirable goal to go out with. And the place is spotless. It looked really clean. The guys looked really knowledgeable, having had a chat to them, and were eager to please and provide a good service. So that's all you really want. Yeah, I can't believe I've just taken a button off this. Not that you'll be able to see that. Not great weather in North Wales, but we do have I'm a Celeb starting tomorrow. Yes, I've never really watched that, to be honest. Scott's got his eye on those scissors. They look great. They do look great. I mean, go and look them up. They are pretty expensive stuff, and they're premium. I have kept the big scissors for myself, I must admit, because I thought they were really good. The JBL stuff, I'm really impressed with it. A lot of the JBL stuff that you get, or you see people talk about and saying, oh well, it's your kind of entry level stuff. But this ProScape range isn't. It's the good stuff. Flood the house, piss off the wife crew. Yes, definitely. Neil says, hi from Doncaster. Graham, I'll start you off with a topic, says Adam78. Nitrate and filter media, is Biohome worth it? I have my own opinion after spending an embarrassing amount on Ultimate Ultra and 9 bricks. That wouldn't have come cheap, I guess. I really like it. I do. I know people love to argue about the subject, and lots of people think it's just nonsense, it's pie in the sky stuff. I like it. You'll notice I sell it on my website. That's one of the things that my website is all about. If I use it myself, then I'll sell it on my website. So I only sell things that I use myself, and I do use Biohome. I think it's a really good media. When you start to get into the nitrate reducing capability of it, that's when the arguments start. But if you ignore that completely, it's a really good media. If you ignore it completely, it's a really expensive media. Anecdotally, it has worked for me, so that's the reason that I stand behind that and say I like it. I know why people have issue with it, and a lot of the arguments that I've seen out there against it, they're specious. They don't stack up themselves. It's all about things like, oh, it crumbles to dust after a year. It doesn't. Oh, it's just it clogs immediately. It doesn't. It clogs no more than any other type of media would clog. So as long as you are rinsing it regularly, or moving it around regularly, or keeping it in high flow, then it shouldn't do that. The chemistry behind it, it does need certain conditions to be able to do that nitrate reducing thing. So you do need to have quite a nice deep thick bed of it, I think. The manufacturer wouldn't necessarily say this, but I think it works best when you do have a deep bed of it, because you get that kind of low flow areas and low oxygen areas within that. But the idea is that it's so porous and has so many channels that it creates them on a micro level within it. If it does that, great. If it doesn't, I'm not claiming it does do that, but I have seen it reduce my nitrate, so I do like it. Even if I don't like it for its nitrate stuff, it's a really efficient filtration media, so I think I can filter a larger tank with a smaller amount of media. So if that's something that you're after, if you want to do a big tank on a canister, you could probably get away with one canister over two if you stuffed it full of Biohome rather than Alpha Grog. But there are others out there, so and this, like I say, I sell it because I use it and I like it. Just because I don't sell something else, the marine pure blocks or whatever they might be, doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just I don't use them, so I haven't had that experience of them. So that's where we'll start on Biohome, and in about 10 minutes I'll catch up with all the comments where everyone tells me I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine. Jonesy says he started breeding. Well, what are your, in fact, Adam, what are your experiences? Let me know in the comments, I'll come back to it. I saw something there about breeding some Mbuna. Any tips? I'm afraid I don't have any tips about breeding Mbuna. I've never kept them. It's one of the things I keep talking about, starting an African cichlid tank. But I've never done it myself. I only know as much as anybody else that would look up the internet or watch some videos on it. It depends which ones you're going for. I think they can have quite differing tips, but yeah, it seems to be the basics are overstock, overfilter, and you have fewer chances to go wrong. But yeah, I know very little about keeping African cichlids. Any advice on keeping pea puffers in a 25 litre? Get a bigger tank probably would be my first piece of advice. Pea puffers are tiny fish, but that doesn't mean they necessarily do well in a tiny tank, and I know that because I've done it before in the past and seen the difference when I've moved them to a bigger tank. So I have kept a group of 5 in a, I want to say in a 30, what size are those tanks? About 30 litres, maybe even 25 litres myself, as a temporary measure, because I was moving things around in the fish room and starting a refit, and they just didn't do well. They were always struggling, there was always problems. I felt I was fighting uphill battle, and as soon as I moved them into a larger kind of 100 litre tank, they just brightened up instantly, almost instantly. They brightened up, started feeding a lot better, and started interacting with each other a lot better. They really are a fish that I think is quite misunderstood in the hobby, because people think, oh, tiny little fish, tiny little tank, tiny little problems, but yeah, they are a social fish. They do better in groups, for instance, so I think the recommended minimum group is 6 if you can. And certainly when I have kept them before in smaller groups, the difference between keeping a group of 3, which is what I had at first, and keeping a group of 6 is night and day. They do interact with each other so much, and so much more when they're in the larger group as well. So my only advice would be keep on top of the water changes and keeping the water pristine as you can, as you would for any fish, but look into see if you can get a bigger tank. That would be my number 1 recommendation. Kez says, I'm a new Discus keeper and I'm growing on brine shrimp. Any top tips for growing the Discus big? Lots of food, lots of water. One of the things I will talk about here, wherever it is. This is one of my new foods that I've started selling, but this was one that was put on to me by my Discus breeder friends recently. This is super soft Artemia, which is, it's like a high packed, it's a dry, soft, squishy food. In fact, I've got some here. This isn't the thing it comes in, this is just, I like to keep everything in a little tub, but it's like a little soft granules. You can squeeze them together and make like a little clump. But all my Discus go absolutely mad for it. Like I say, I was put onto it by my Discus breeder friend, and all his fish are fed on this. they do really well. I use it as a treat for all my fish, and every fish I've got goes mad for it. They absolutely love it. So that's a really good food to use. But brine shrimp in itself, I also use a load of frozen brine shrimp, and I feed all my discus on that. Little and often with discus. Sometimes, especially if I'm trying to grow on a fish, I'll feed them 4, 5, 6 times a day, just with a little bit. But keeping their water clean and warm, and feeding them a lot of food, a varied diet. I mean, some people stick by saying, oh, you should only use beef heart and that's got everything in it that you need. But technically true, but a varied diet's a good thing, so you've always got options. And so there'll be my tips even. But go on aquariumadventures.com, no, .co.uk, and you can buy some of that food. I'll send you some. How often should I feed my new guppy fry? Every day, I guess. My guppy fry, I feed all my fish once a day, pretty much. But I do that because I keep them in quite heavily planted tanks with quite a lot of mulm, and I think fry do well in tanks that are established with mulm. Mulm's like the kind of stuff that lives on the bottom and builds up. It's not necessarily detritus or rotting, it's just it gives places for things like infusoria and that to start producing itself, and it's quite nutritious. God, I've lost the power of speech today. Quite nutritious for fry. But my guppy fry, what I'll feed is just get some flake and crush it up and sprinkle it in. That does quite well. Live foods like baby brine shrimp and all that, even better. Guppy fry, I feed mine baby brine shrimp. Yeah, that's good. Jonathan Diviney, hello from Manchester. Hello there yourself. I'm just catching up on the stories here. You know what I'm like with my multitasking, trying to talk and read at the same time. Thinking of starting my own fish room in the garage. Any advice and what sort of cost? Yes, it's a great idea. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. I wish I'd gone bigger and used the whole garage, but I have a wife to please and a family to please. In fact, she suggested today I make a video on how I managed to get her convinced to let me have a fish room in the garage. Do a lot of planning, do a lot of costing. Think about what you want to do with your fish room, in terms of plumbing, heating, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of fairly straightforward. In fact, I think I wrote a blog on my website talking about the startup costs for my fish room. But things like, especially it depends where you live. If you're in the UK, winters can be cold, summers can be hot, and that's going to be costly for you. So make sure your insulation that's the biggest thing I thought of was the insulation, trying to get that right. And there are cheap ways to do it and there are expensive ways to do it. So by all means, drop me an email or have a look at my website and I'll give you some advice. But yeah, insulate everything, plan everything, where you want tanks, what type of tanks you want. Because I started with a bunch of tanks that didn't quite fit in the orientation that I wanted them, and I've been playing catch up ever since. Go for look at what's available for you. So things like a lot of the most common measurements for tanks is 2 feet. So if you get them end on, you get a 2 foot wide racking system, or build your racks, whatever it is. You can get a lot more tanks in a smaller space, so the footprint to tank ratio is quite good. Jonathan says he's built a fish room in his garage and not as expensive as you think. Well, I must have underestimated things because mine was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Any tips on breeding Kribensis? Yeah, well, don't would be mine, because once they start you can never stop them and you can never get rid of them either. I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Kribensis because I couldn't get them to stop breeding or get rid of them fast enough. But in general, a decent enough space so that they can breed, some cave options so they can make a little home, and add water. Yeah, they're kind of like guppies at that point once you get them going. Really interesting fish to breed as well. When they do have babies, You can kind of sneak up on them. It's brilliant to watch this, but they'll hang around the little clump, and the mum and the dad, they're pretty good parents as well. But they'll hang around the little clump, and if you sneak up on them and then just kind of pop your head up, they'll just drop and play dead, essentially. And I thought it was just me and I killed them or something like that, but no, they kept on doing it. It's the weirdest thing. Best ways to get Bolivian rams to colour up. I feed live food, shrimp and brine shrimp and bloodworms, frozen food and cichlid crisps. Only had to eat great personalities. I think you're doing everything that you need to do to get them to colour up. That's a really good mix of food. There's my son Alistair. This is the only thing I'm going to say during the stream AA10K. I think we might get accused of some fighting there if my own son wins the prize. But hey, you've got as much chance as anyone else. Paul Soltero watching from North Carolina. Hello there. Who do you think is who's the furthest away from where I am? So I'm in Sheffield in England. Who might think that they might be the one that's furthest away? Let me know in the comments. More iron brew, it's good for the vocal cord. Yeah, I've not had iron brew for a while actually. Yes, this is the Pepsi Max. It took me 2 years to convince my wife to allow me to get one aquarium. Now she tells me where the angels are laying eggs. Yes, my wife likes my aquarium hobby because I do everything rather than her, and she doesn't have to get involved and she can just watch. She likes it a bit less when the everything that I do is sometimes flood the house, but you know. If I don't want to build my own racking system, which shelves should I use? My shelves are from a company called Big Dug here in the UK. There's another one called Rapid Racking, which I know people have used in the past. They're very much of a muchness. It's just a case of looking at the load-bearing weight for the shelving units that you want to pick. Here in the UK, they tend to be the ones that are blue and orange coloured, or the kind of heavy-duty ones. But yeah, have a look at them. I should really get some kind of sponsorship going with Big Dug, so I'm always recommending them to people. Adam's disappointed with the nitrate removal in his 1,000 litre combined sump discus tank. Fairly fastidious with cleaning and 50% water changes, getting 30 to 40 nitrates. It will climb higher. I've had the biohome running for a year at least. Yeah, well the thing is, it does take kind of 6 months before you start to get the nitrate reduction effects there. So if you've been running it for a year, that's usually plenty enough. And you said you had a lot of it as well, because that's another thing, is you do need quite a lot and get that good deep bed before you get the nitrate reduction. It could be something else going on. It could be overstocking. I know some people have said that they use like water conditioners like Prime and things like that. They've noticed that kills off the nitrate reducing capabilities of it. By all means, drop me an email, or we can have a word with the pond guru or someone like that to see what else we can think of. What are my feelings on bloodworm carrying parasites into an aquarium, true or false? Well, this is something that's... I got into aquariums with Discus. That's when I started getting a bit mental about it all, and the Discus people were always like, oh no, you cannot use bloodworms, they're the worst thing in the world, they're terrible, and I've given that advice myself. A bit of a plug, see if I can get plugged by Pepsi Max, sponsored by Pepsi Max. And bloodworms, they got a terrible rep for that. And I get it, they're not brilliant for Discus because they're not all that nutritious. I've lost the power of speech. They're not all that nutritious, so the kind of risk-reward ratios kind of not really worth it. But with today's modern foods, all the gamma-irradiated bloodworms and things like that, I don't think there is much of a risk of you bringing in parasites with them these days. And maybe it is worth it when you use them for special occasions, if you're trying to get a fish to eat. I've never met a fish that wouldn't eat bloodworm. So I think they have their place. But yeah, I don't think it's as bad as everyone used to make out. Andy, yeah, there's one of the people. Andy Atkinson says thanks for the Big Dug rack idea. I have 2 of them, loving them, really strong. Yeah, so I think that you were one of the people I recommended them to. So I think they're great. I've had several of them over the years. In fact, I think all my racks are Big Dug. Kaylee says good evening from Loughborough. I don't think you're the most furthest afield person watching, but hello from Loughborough. Adam's using a 3-stage 20-inch HMA, so you won't be using prime or any other water conditioners. I'm not sure. I mean, I have heard stories about people who use Biohome and say it doesn't reduce their nitrate. There could be 100 ideas, and I have no wish to call people liars and saying they just don't like it or whatever it might be. I'm not a complete expert in it, but I'm sure we could try and figure something out. Like there, underneath your comment is Z saying my Biohome Ultimate is working really well in an FX6 after about 8 months. So yeah, it works for some people, and some people it just plain doesn't work, and I don't know why. There probably is something going on, but yeah, I don't know. Right, Callum's off. Have a good stream, thank you very much. Zorber's nitrate out the tap starts at 20 parts per million, so weekly water change will never get below 30 for nitrates. Stop chasing numbers. Well, yeah, that's really good advice. Don't chase numbers, learn to live with what you've got, because if you spend your life trying to change enough water to keep and hit a certain parameter, you will get lazy and you'll stop getting there. So yeah, it's not that it's unsafe to have nitrates. I'm fine with up to 40 parts per million nitrates. It doesn't really concern me. It's only when it gets really high that I get a bit worried. Pardon me. Adam's just sharing his findings. Yes, no, I'm not. That's it. I think I don't know what it is that's different. But yeah, there are as many people who say it doesn't reduce their nitrates as there are that say that it does. I think I've probably been in a bit of both, because it did reduce my nitrates for a while and then kind of stopped, and I blamed that on me moving around my sump too much and doing a bit of a too much of a deep clean, shall we say, and then my nitrates started to creep up again, but then they started to come down again, so I don't really know. Yeah, so if you've already spoken to Richard, so Richard Thew is the pond guru. He's one of the guys that manufactures this stuff in the UK. So he knows all about it, and he probably will. He'll go the extra mile for you if you've bought that much off him to try and make sure it works for you. Plants will take care of nitrates. Yes, you don't want to get rid of nitrates. I mean, it's not quite like that, because we're talking about the nitrate, the gas, and nitrate, the... I'm going to get into a chemical mess here, so I'll just stop that right now. But yes, plants are also an excellent way to get rid of nitrates and make your aquarium better in general. Right, let's have a little break and we'll talk about something else I wanted to talk about, which is... So, I'm about to start hawking my own food, but before we do that, I was sent some of this stuff, which is a brand called Fish Science. Why is nothing focusing? This is meant to be autofocus. No. Is it going to... Thinking about it? Go on, you can do it. There you go. Fish Science. This is a UK based brand. A guy... Look at my fingernails. Manky. Ugh. He... it's run by a guy called Dr. David Poole, I believe his name is, who seemed like a very nice chap. And he sent me a load of these for review. So I got a bunch of different foods. I must admit I've concentrated on these two, which I think are absolutely fantastic. So even though I'm about to try and sell you on my own foods, come on camera, get the game. These are absolutely brilliant. If you would let me, I would sell them myself, because I mean, this one for... Oh, well, that's the krill flake. So this is the krill flake, which has got a really high krill content, and you've heard me evangelize about krill before. I think it's a great food for colouring up all manner of fish. So it's a bit unfair to say it's a great krill food, because I think all krill food is great. But yes, it does as much as any other krill flake does. Readily taken by all fish. This was the one that was kind of new to me, the worm pellets. Go on. Tropical fish worm pellets. These are 1mm sinking fish food. These are absolutely fantastic. So the idea or the spiel behind it is that it recreates the natural worm-based diet of many mid to bottom feeding fish. So they've got a unique formula using bloodworms, earthworms, mealworms, silkworms, over 40% worm content, so hence the name, worm food. Go on the website, so if you're interested in this, go on the website, the Fish Science website, read up on all these. They've done loads of research, loads of solid science and thinking behind this. I think worms are a great food, so I've been trying to find my own supplier of worm pellets and worm-based foods, so as I could sell them myself, but haven't been able to do that yet. But I wholeheartedly recommend this. I've seen such a difference in some of my fish that I've started feeding with this stuff. It's really good. And you know, if I think something's rubbish, I'll say it's rubbish. It was provided to me for free to test out, but I would happily go and buy this again, and I probably will go and buy this again. Really good food. It's just little tiny millimeter sized pellets, but every single fish that I've got, shrimp, snails, everything goes absolutely mental for this stuff. I don't know whether they recognise me coming with the box, but yeah, they absolutely love it. Really good for, so this as a combo, I think I could get away with feeding most of my fish. This for feeding them up, bulking them up, making them grow. This for colouring them up. It would be an absolutely fantastic combo. So to that end, some of the ones that I haven't opened, Cichlid floating pellets. So this one, this is another insect heavy one, recreating the natural insect and worm based diet that cichlids and larger tropical fish consume. So these are floating pellets. These are 2.5mm pellets. You can see there it says actual size. That will go into the prize bag, so we'll drop that in here. We've got mini algae wafers, which are, unsurprisingly, mini algae wafers. That will go into the bag. And we've got Corridora tablets. So again, all of these foods are insect based. That's kind of the whole spiel behind fish science, is that they're trying to get out there and get some, go on, god damn you, focus. Well, you know what it says. Corridora's tablet food. It's all about recreating and more of a natural based diet. I think that's a really good idea, something we should all be aiming to do anyway. So I'm going to put in a bunch of the fish science foods. They're going into the prize bag. So again, hashtag AA10K. Let's see if you can get a winner. Is that a super chat I've just missed as well? Oh dear, need to pay more attention. Oh no, it wasn't. It was just something else flashing up. Well, we've got 71 concurrent viewers at the moment with 43 likes. Come on, people, I need to get a few more likes in there. We have to get, so I keep being told I have to take these breaks to say, please remember to like and subscribe this. Leave a comment if you're enjoying this type of content, and click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss any future live streams or any future content. If you're interested in this channel and want to support it more, I'm doing this from memory, I'm not even reading it. If you're interested in this channel and want to support it, you can click the join button and join part of the community. There are 2 levels you can join at. It just helps me out with some of this stuff, so all these tanks that I need to keep running, you know, every little helps, and thank you very much to all the people who have already done that. I've also got my website, aquariumadventures.co.uk, where I've just started a range of foods. So, as you can see, I've got all manner on there. You can go and have a look out at them. We've got some of the sticky pellets. Got my own algae wafers, krill flakes, colour pellets, all manner of food. Shrimp foods seem to go down really well. This is my personal favourite at the moment. This is the super soft Artemia from a German company. Really high protein, great as a treat food for lots of fish. I will admit this isn't the cheapest of foods in the world, but it's really good. This is my krill flake, which I feed to all my fish. Does a really good job of colouring them up. So have a look on my website, you'll see all my foods that I've just brought out. These are just plain packaging that I've put together myself. I've got all the requisite labels and stuff that you're meant to put on them. So I have been trying to do things properly, so you can read about all the ingredients and the analysis of all the foods on the website. I won't bore you to death with all that just now. But it's worth talking about. I'm trying to do a little bit more and expand my empire. Is it an empire? I don't think I get to class it as an empire. But I've been looking into getting in a bit deeper into the hobby and starting to move into the more business side. Like I say, my philosophy is I'm selling things that I use, and I want to continue to do that. So it's tricky in that a lot of the things I use people don't want me to sell. So it's quite hard to find the suppliers or convince them to give me the stuff and give me the trade accounts. I've got my pet shop license in the works, so I applied for that a couple of weeks back, but that's been delayed due to all the COVID. How's everyone enjoying Lockdown, the sequel? Just like all sequels, it's not as good as the first one. So I've got that in the works. Trying to set up as a proper business and do that. I don't have a premises, so nobody wants to supply me, and I get that because, yeah, most of the suppliers, they want to, or they exclusively supply bricks and mortar shops, because obviously if they supply me, I can sell things a little bit cheaper than a bricks and mortar shop, and that kind of endangers that, and I don't want to put anyone out of business or do anything like that. This is very much a side thing for me. Some of the suppliers that I've managed to get for these foods they're kind of on a trial basis, so they may not be around forever, but we'll see how we get on. So I'm struggling to find bulk supplies or wholesale supplies. So for plants, because I really want to sell plants as well, because I'm getting right into the aquascaping things. So everything that I'm doing here is all with retail stuff that I'm buying myself, and so that's why things like the YouTube membership scheme and all that kind of stuff is really important for me, because it helps me be able to afford all these things. But yeah, I really want to start quite small, but just selling the things that I use and like and can recommend. So I stand by all the things that I sell because I use them myself. So I think that's quite a good business model. We'll see where we get on. But yeah, I can't find anyone that will supply me with plants at the moment. Can't find anyone that will supply me with fish, because I wanted to get into the fish. Kind of swithering brothers to get into Discus as well, because I can get stinker Discus once I get my pet shop license. But I don't actually keep stinker Discus because all my Discus are Asian. So that might be an interesting sideline. But yeah, like tools and equipment and doing my own merch and things like that, they're all future plans. But yeah, that might take a while to get up and running. So I'm starting small with just the fish foods from the suppliers that I've managed to convince to let me set up a trade account with. So hopefully they'll grow as the years come in. I know that doesn't actually make sense. I hope to be adding more product lines as the weeks and months go on. Let's leave it at that. So that's the hard sell. Go on the website, aquariumadventures.co.uk, have a look around, see if there's anything that takes your fancy, and yeah, any orders are much appreciated. I've actually been really surprised how many orders I've had already. I've got a load of, I think I sent out, 12 orders last week. Yeah, the day of launch, I just did one little Facebook post of, I'm starting to sell some food, and I got a load in that one day, and last week was really good as well. So lots of new and exciting things. I don't want to take up the whole stream of me just hawking things to you constantly. Let's see if we can catch up again on the comments. Oddball Aquatics is here. Hello there. I can never say this word. Polypterus Bichers go mad for algae wafer for some reason. Yeah, mine did as well, which is weird because he could never eat it. He would just get and then kind of get stuck like me trying to eat a dinner plate. So yeah, I've got two types of algae wafers. although I've only brought out one. These are the mixed ones, so there's all kinds of stuff in here, but it's all like your kind of vegetable based products. This is one I've used for years and years and years. I breed all my bristle noses on these. My shrimp go mad for these, they love it. And the other one is an oak and algae wafer, because I found that that has really helped with their health and vibrance as well, if I feed that one too. So I've been really impressed with those algae wafers. So if you want some algae wafers, I'll send you some algae wafers. They're on my list to add to my tank. Stunning fish. I think I've missed something there. Dan says, I've checked your website. When will your super red bristlenose plecos be available again? As soon as we get some super red bristlenose pleco babies. So the fish that I'm selling are only my fish that I have bred myself. I'm not importing fish yet. As much as I try, I can't find anyone that will actually supply me with fish. Pardon me. So that's why, so for instance, my cherry shrimp are now out of stock because someone bought the last load of them recently. I need to wait until I build up my own stock again before I can start to sell them. I am interested in going to some suppliers and shipping them in, but again, everyone that I've approached so far has said no, because I've not got a bricks and mortar shop, I've not got a retail outlet. So even if I've got my pet shop license, they're still not going to sell me the fish, so I'm a bit stuck there. Hello, says Victorious. Hello yourself. Adam says, surely they sell to eBay type stores, maybe quantities are an issue. Well, no, because I've told them I'm willing to buy it, whatever quantity it is that they have to sell at. I'm more than happy to, obviously within reason, because I've only got so much tank space, but I can free up quite a lot of tank space and quarantine everything properly. And the ones who have talked to me will give me their terms and stuff, so their minimum order might be 300 quid or might be so many pieces or whatever it is. And that's not the issue, because it's as soon as they find out that I don't have a retail store, they go, sorry, we can't supply you. And I get it, because they're protecting the business of the people that they do supply. So yeah, I get it, I just need to find one that will do that. I said it right. Polypterus. Well done me. I'll pat myself on the back. Zorba says, I have 6 diamonds, 2 males and 4 females with 30 green neons and 2 angel, 5 panda cories. Sounds nice. Give Tim a shout at Corbin Discus. Yes, I would love to do that, but they're slightly more expensive than your stinker Discus. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming they are. In fact, I know they are. The reason I was thinking of going for stinker Discus is because that was slightly different there, because they will talk to me, so they've given me their trade price list, and it does make sense if I go for the smallest fish that they sell, because their small fish are actually quite cheap. So stinker's quite weird, and I don't know if I should say this if I do want to do business with them. Yeah, I'll go for it anyway. Stinker's quite weird in that their small fish are actually really cheap and really good value, but their large fish are actually horrifically expensive. So if you can buy their 2.5 inch fish trade quite cheap, and so if I wanted to spend 500 quid, I could fill my fish room with these fish, probably once or twice over. And I think that would be a really good move in terms of, as well as wanting to sell them, but I could see them grow, because I could buy them small. I could make a bunch of videos on the Discus and growing them up. Discus is my thing, that's my main passion within the hobby, is the Discus. So I could make a whole bunch of videos about getting them in, unboxing them, acclimatizing them, getting them up to temperature, all that good stuff, then growing them over the weeks and months, and start to sell them off as well, and getting in new ones and seeing how they act in big groups, small groups, doing lots of different tests and all that kind of stuff, and grow them up myself, so get a load of YouTube content out of it, and then sell them on when they're a little bit bigger. That makes perfect sense to me. Someone had been, one of my viewers had emailed me a while ago to say he had bred a load of fish, but he didn't want to sell them until they were a little bit bigger. I think he wanted to wait until they were kind of 3.5, 4 inch or something like that. And in the end, I didn't go for it. And that was more because I really want to get the small ones, because I think I can get a load of videos out of it and make some interesting content, rather than the price. But it would also be committing to, I think it was something like he had 80 blue diamonds. I was like, do I really want 80 blue diamonds? Where I could get, I don't know, 10 blue diamonds and then 10 of something else and then 10 of something else, and do something that way a little bit. So I don't know, that's one of the things I've got thinking in my head, because where I've got my fish room and I've got my big angel tank, I've kind of got a 6 foot gap there where I could get a bunch of 2 foot by 2 foot tanks in that. Maybe even 2 rows full of them. I could get a couple of 200 litre tanks on the other side. I've got plans to get one of them in there anyway, so that might be quite good. But then again, I don't actually keep stinker discus, so that goes against my philosophy of I only sell things that I keep, but then I would keep them if I got them. That makes sense? I don't know. We'll think about this. So the reason that I don't want, and all that started with try Tim at the Corbin Discus. Corbin Discus is where I get my discus from. They're Martin Ung fish, and they are, not that stinker aren't a premium fish, but Tim imports them, and I think they've got some kind of exclusive relationship where it's only Corbin Discus, Durham Discus, and one other place, I think, possibly in Wales somewhere, that can sell Martin Ung fish. And I definitely don't want to go into competition with Tim, because he's one of my friends, and that's where I get all my fish from. So that's why I was looking at maybe going for the stinker. But then the discus world is a bit cutthroat, so I'm sure I'll be pissing off somebody if I did that anyway. Right, what else have we got? Someone's spamming me with fish. There we go. Just lie to them, Graham. That's what my wife said. So I was talking to Tropica the back end of last week about plants, and one of their requirements is, so they're happy to send me plants, and I can, they've got a minimum order of something like £100, so that's not a problem at all. But I have to be VAT registered, and I was like, oh god, because I really don't want to be VAT registered, because that then makes everything a lot more expensive. So in the UK, if you don't know, you don't have to be VAT registered until you've got a turnover of something like 85 grand a year. A long way away from that, but essentially means I have to either take a 20% hit on my profits or put all my prices up by 20% to start recording VAT, so I really don't want to do that. So I was moaning to my wife saying, I can't get anyone to supply me anything, I've got all this money here, money to burn, and nobody to take it off me, because they all want these bricks and mortar premises. And she's like, just lie, what's the chances of them coming round? I was like, I don't know. Can my garage be given its own address to sound like a business address? I did think about getting like a PO box or something like that. I was even thinking about renting a small office or something. You know, you get these like industrial units and places like that. Purely as a way to scale up my fish room, if you like, so I could have like, I don't know, another 50 tanks in there or something like that. If I could rent a garage, for instance, or a lockup or something like that. So that would be a separate place, and it would be a commercial premises. That would probably work. But this is very much a that would be stepping things up a lot quicker than I had intended to. Fly Nerygit says, when is the giveaway announced? The giveaway is announced as soon as I get to 10,000 subscribers. So I've currently got 9,700 and change. So it'll more than likely be around Christmas time, unless people start sharing this video, hint hint, or posting it on any social media accounts saying, check out this guy, he mumbles everything and gets his words tongue-tied, but mildly entertaining. So yes, if you're here and this is your first time, click that subscribe button, it really helps me out, and you'll get your prize quicker. Oh, the thing that I missed was your adoration of diamond tetras. Apologies, yes, they are very nice fish. Can you get a Tropco account? My friend has one, he has a pet shop license, you get 20% off and they're cheap. I did not think about Tropco. I've used Tropco a few times. In fact, they recently invited me to go down and tour their facility to check out, because I think they've got one of the biggest fish rooms in the UK, if not the biggest in the UK. And I thought that'd be a great video to do, but then lockdown happened again and it kind of frittered away. Well, I shall have to look into that. Thank you, Andy. That's a good idea. Bunny Viper, pick me. I could use some happy news in the USA. Well, you've got as much chance as anyone else, Bunny. I'm doing this to the whole world. I must admit, I really hope someone in Britain wins, because the box is going to get quite heavy by the time we get to 10,000 subscribers. But yes, it'll be open to anyone. Dan, do you play the guitar? I have a guitar wall ornament. That's about as much as I play the guitar at the moment. I do play the guitar, or I did play the guitar very badly and very sporadically. But I've just started getting back into it because my daughter started taking guitar lessons. So she had her first guitar lesson, what was it, last week or the week before? So I got the guitar down and had a go at it with her, and realised that I'd forgotten almost everything. So yeah, I might get back into that soon, but I need to restring that because it's had those strings on it for about 5 years or something like that, and they were quite hard, and my poor old fingers lost all their calluses. Listen to your wife. That's always good advice, Sorba. Just lie to people. I guess it's a case of whether you want to be full-scale business or commercial venture or not. And I do. Ideally, I'd love to have my own fish shop, but I do have a proper job as well, and my proper job, I can't see a way that running a fish shop is going to pay me more than my proper job pays me. So unfortunately, it always has to be a side project and take a back seat to that, because as much as I would love the idea of running a fish shop and the mental health side of things, because my job does my head in most of the time, I do have a family to think about, so I've got to put food on the table and roof over our head and all that stuff. And that's, I'll be open and honest with everyone, that's how I'm funding this, is you guys watching these videos, you guys joining as members, super chats, ad revenue, selling off the food, all that kind of stuff. It all goes straight back into this, and then I buy my next lot of things that I can build up slowly, catchy monkey, as they say. So I can't afford to go all in, because I don't have the time to go all in, so it has to be, until I get to an even keel, it's always going to be a bit like that. Well, unless they make me redundant, so who knows. I'm loving the tank behind you under the guitar. So this one here, yeah, me too. I'm amazed by this tank. I think it looks like, I know I've got my fancy camera on it now, so it's all a bit bokeh and out of focus, but it looks so premium. It looks like it's the most expensive tank in the world. This is the All Pond Solutions tank. I did make a video about it. If I thought I could manage to multitask, I would put a link in the chat to it. I think it was £25, something like that, for that tank. The whole lot, everything in that tank, was less than 50, I think. And it's possibly my best looking tank. I mean, I'll say my Discus tank is, I'm very proud of my Discus tank at the moment, but it's a very close second, even though it's only a small tank and it's only got a bit of fish in it at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it. It looks so green, healthy, vibrant. I really like the light, I really like the filter. I wish the filter was maybe a smaller canister or something like that, but yeah, it's the tank itself, it's like that kind of opti-white glass. It looks really premium. Can't recommend it enough, and that's from All Pond Solutions. They very kindly donated that for me to have a play with. Yeah, it's fantastic. Go and check them out. Where did I get up to? Oh, Simple Fish Life is here. Not seen you for a while. Could be a members only video, the tour of Tropco. Yeah, could do something like that. I mean, I would like to do that, and I probably will get back in touch with them again to get down there and have a look, because I think that would be a really interesting video just to see something of that scale. Because if you've seen the adverts on Facebook and things like that from Tropico, they are absolutely enormous. So yeah, that would be good. And Jennifer, we have a mod. Oh yeah, Simple Fish Life is a mod. In fact, why are you not a mod? I'm pretty sure I thought you were a mod. There you go, you can be a mod on here as well. In lockdown I gave the guitar a go and failed. Well, it's not easy. It is a bit tricky, the old guitar, and like I say, I was never very good. I've been playing the guitar for a long time, but yeah, not to any great level. Looking for tips on breeding pea puffers. Me too. I have successfully bred pea puffers. I think I've got 2 babies now. No idea how I did it. Wasn't trying to do it. Didn't realise I had done it until I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I've only ever bought 6. Where did that come from? So that happened twice. I don't know. There are... It's fairly easy to tell the males from the females, but I won't try and explain it because I'll get it the wrong way around probably. But the colourings and the markings, you can separate them, and you really do need to have more females to males, just because they can be a bit of an arse to each other. But it's just give them the conditions that they need. They do need quite a bit of space. They need quite a bit of cover, space to get away from each other, and space to hide from the babies, because I think they do cannibalise their young quite a bit. But there is a really, pardon me, being so rude. There's a really good Facebook group called Puffer Fish. Let's not guess this one, Graham. Get it right. But there's a guy who got in touch with me once to tell me that I was doing everything wrong with my puffer fish. And I had a look at he runs a couple of groups on there, and really good information. And now I'm not going to find it. So this one is Pufferfish Enthusiasts Worldwide, and more specifically, Pea Puffer Enthusiasts Worldwide. I think that's the right one. But I'm sure he won't mind me saying his name, but look out for a group that's got a guy called Macaulay Sykes in it. He knows a lot about his pufferfish, has helped me out with some of mine. Again, take advice, make your own decisions, but he will give you good advice. Lots of care sheets and things like that, so you can see, take it away on your own and read it. You don't have to ask questions. I know some people don't like doing it like that because it can be a bit funny, quizzing people all the time, and it's hard to interact with people over text, so sometimes you think people are having a go at you when they're just giving you something, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, check that out, because that's where you'll get some really good advice, and I'm sure they cover all the breeding tips as well. I love All Pond Solutions. Their items are really good quality. Yes, they are. I have nothing but good things to say about All Pond Solutions, except for that one time when their tank exploded on Christmas and flooded my living room and ruined Christmas. And they said sorry, and that was it. But other than that, they've been very good. No, that was a bad time. It's not their fault that my tank cracked, but I don't like the Boyu style tanks that they sell, but that one I really do like. Their heaters, I think they're really good value anyway. They are at the cheaper end of the spectrum for heaters, but they are cheap, so that's what you want for things that are at the cheaper end of the spectrum. A lot of the All Pond branded pumps and things like that, really good value. Everything's just really good value. There are a few things that I have been bitten by and want to stay away from. I don't like the filters, the canister filters. They are cheap, but I think they are cheap. But yeah, that particular filter, so the hang-on back filters, their whole range of hang-on back filters. So the one that's on this tank, that's the bigger version of that one, and then the one that's on this tank it's £12 for a hang-on back filter. These ones have got UV and stuff, but they're a bit more expensive. But that's £12, and it's been running for years and never gone wrong. It's absolutely fantastic. So yes, Allpond Solutions, really happy with them. How's the dosing going with the auto doser? Yes, it's going very well. I have now put it into the tank. I ran it for, I think, it wasn't quite a week. It was just under a week, and the measurements were bang on. So I've just stuck it back in. So I'm hoping that my tank is going to get even more healthy. I have noticed that since I've done that, a lot of the leaves. My Google Assistant has decided to have a chat with me for some reason. Shh. I have noticed that a lot of the leaves have started dropping since I've used it though, so I don't know if that's because a load of new growth has been stimulated or something's gone horribly wrong, or not quite sure what's going on there, so I need to look into that. Pardon me. Yeah, they're surface skimmers as well. Somebody's saying that they've bought one of their surface skimmers. I've bought one as well for Humphrey's tank over here. So Humphrey is my, I was going to say he's my neon tetra. That's not true at all. Humphrey is my, what's the name? Flower horn. There we go. My two-tone camphor flower horn. And the foods that I've been feeding him are quite protein heavy and getting a bit of scum forming on the top. So I've just added a protein skimmer to that. And I think it was something like £8 or something. Absolutely ridiculous. Cheap as chips, does the job perfectly. Love Puffers just got another word I can't say. Shudende Puffer of Sims Tropicals. I was looking at getting a big group of them a while back. They're quite expensive though for to get a group. A German ram about a year old, the best part of 2 inches. His partner died. The female rams at the shops are so small. Should I worry or get them? I would worry, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can't get them. If you can do something like set up a divider or something like that, that might work. Or if you can get another tank to grow on a bit, it should catch up pretty quickly. But when I've kept a large male with a smaller female, he's beat the crap out of it basically. So it's something to watch. Not all fish will do that. Not all rams will pick on a smaller one, but it's worth taking care, let's say. I love my Fluval 7 series filters, so easy to take care of and almost silent. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fluval filters. I had an FX5 for many years and it worked flawlessly. Keep us updated with the investigation of the leaves dropping. I will do. I don't know if it's just, I just don't know what's going on there, so I need to keep thinking about it. How's Humphrey doing? He's doing great. He's got a little bit of girl curl, which you might have seen in one of the other videos, but it hasn't got worse. He's a bit of an arse though. I can't remember if I've told anyone, I did keep him with the biture in there. I had to move that in the end because he was picking on it a little bit. He has rearranged the tank completely. Massive stones. He manages to move them. I don't quite know how he does that. But yeah, he's happy as Larry. I've been thinking about moving him downstairs into the fish room, into a slightly larger tank with a bit more horizontal swimming space, because that's a square tank, that one. So he does have a little freak out every now and again when he tries to move a rock and it's a bit heavier than he thought. He gets all flustered and darts off, and he has bashed himself a couple of times, so I don't know whether or not I might be moving him into a longer tank, see if that makes any difference. Robert Kerr, familiar name. Loving the channel almost as good as watching the Masters. Well, that's what I'm going to go and do after this. I was watching the golf last night. It's a bit weird. I don't quite know. It's weird watching the Masters in November. Let's see who's winning. So I'm going to watch this afterwards. I need Lee Westwood to finish in the top 10 to make me a multi-millionaire. But no doubt he'll let me down again. Oh, I can't see what's going on. I shall look at that later. Found a box of new internal canister filters in my storage, 4 sizes. We'll buy tanks to fit them all. That's what you need. Yes, he is a bit of an arse, my flowerhorn. He took a massive chunk out of my finger. I don't know if you can see that. He says, takes a massive chunk out of my finger and then show you the smallest, the tiniest scar in the world. But that's the remnants of it. That was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, something like that. Took a big chunk out of there when I was fitting the surface scanner that I was talking about there. Well, laddie da, quite happily in there, getting the stuckers in, turned around for a second, talking, then just ouch! Blood everywhere. It was horrible. No, I mean, it was nothing. It didn't hurt at all. It was completely manly. I'm looking to try and start up my own fish selling business, but don't have the money for a website. Where else could I sell? So that's Joe's Aquatics. I'll look out for that name when he's one of my arch rivals in the fish selling business. You could look at eBay. I think that's the most obvious one. Facebook used to be really good for selling fish, but they effectively banned that, although I've noticed a lot more has been creeping back in again. You could look at Band. There's a few. So Band is a website for bands, but the fish community seem to have taken it over. So there's lots of groups on Band that do allow selling. So if you have joined a Facebook group which is no longer allowed to sell fish, if you look on Band for the equivalent group, they normally have one where the selling of fish is quite prevalent there. I've sold quite a few that way. eBay, as I say, is still very good. Often forums such as, I don't know, Fish Forums UK or whatever fish forums they have, they'll have a classified section where you can list things like that. So it depends how comfortable it depends what kind of fish selling business you want. If it's a online only type of thing where you will be shipping out things, or if you're going to have people coming round to your house to buy them, or that kind of thing. But the money for a website should be the least of your concerns. Websites are not expensive things. Pardon me. Are your micro pellets similar to the fish science ones for the worm pellets? No, my micro pellets are like a guppy pellet. They're a soft. I mean, they're similar in consistency, but they're not as insect heavy. I don't have any to hand. Let me very quickly look up the ingredients on my micro pellets. But I use them for guppies and things like that. They are mostly fishy based. Oh, they do have some insect in them actually, yeah. But no, they're a different breed altogether. So it's herring meal, wheat, mycoprotein, krill, insect meal, garlic, fish hydroslate. What is wrong with me and my ability to say words today? Spirulina and some colorants. If you want nightmares, have a Google fish hydroslate. It's not hydroslate. Stop saying it like that. Hydrolysate. It's basically all the yucky bits of fish and churned up to try and get every last ounce of nutrient out of it. It doesn't sound like a nice process of getting it. But lots of like natural colorants, spirulina and krill, things like that. It's not got generic fish meal. It's specifically herring meal. I don't know. I must admit, I don't know if that's any better than anything else. But it's one of the selling points. But it is a good food. In my opinion, because I have been using it for a while, and my fish do like it. Like I say, I use it mostly for my guppies, but a lot of the fish will take it as well. Let's go back to where we were. Aquabid. Is Aquabid a thing? Or is that just in America? We used to have one here. Yeah, I think that's just in America, isn't it? Do they have a UK version maybe? I don't know. There was a... It was a really terrible website. What was that called? It was the UK version of Aquabid. But it looked like it had been written by somebody in 1980 and never updated. It was... that's a horrible website to navigate. But yeah, that is another one. If I remember, Aquarium, Aquarius Classified, was it? It may not even still be going. I remember it was for sale at one point. Oh yeah, still going. aquariusclassifieds.co.uk. Oh yeah, it's still as modern looking as ever. In fact, can I transition over to it? Aquarius Classified websites from the 1980s, still going strong. But yeah, tropical fish. So there you go. They've still got quite a lot on there. Lots of posts from today, for instance. So yeah, get your stuff on there. I forgot that even existed. So if you can see that, aquariusclassifieds.co.uk. I don't know, let me know, has anyone in the UK used that recently? Because I had completely forgotten it even existed. Just adding some more Levitating media to my tank and some fresh pourage in. I heard you talking about fish biting. I'm wary of my fossil cat. I'd hate to get... Oh yes. I mean, thankfully, none of my fish are particularly dangerous, but I've been bitten by Discus before, which everybody thinks they're like just some kind of serene thing that float around in air, and but they can be nasty bastards as well. They have definitely drawn blood, but yeah, I don't have anything terribly dangerous. Isn't Aquabid a US? Yes, I think it might be. Can you give us any news on what's coming in the channel? So, what is coming in the channel is lots more of me hawking stuff. I'm trying to get my business going. You've recently seen me fitting out the fish room. That's my next big thing, is I want to kind of revamp the fish room completely, get it... make the most use of the space as I possibly can, because it is quite a small fish room. In fact, I've done that thing where I've changed back and now you can't see what's going on. There we go. So what I want to do is make the most use out of the space that I've got in the fish room, because like I said, it's only half a garage, it's not even a whole garage that I've got down there. So I've effectively got about 3 foot space, a channel and tanks either side. So we want to see if I can get as many tanks as I can squeeze in, because the things I really like to do is guppies and discus, and they couldn't be more at the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of size and requirements for an actual fish room. So I need lots of small tanks and lots of big tanks. But I've also got, I really quite like my Ancestris, so the bristlenose plecos. I really like breeding them, and I think they are really interesting fish, so I'm going to keep them. Cherry shrimp are really popular, and they're just cool little fish as well. And I've got breeding plans for most of my fish. So I've got my white clouds in this tank here. I want to get them breeding. That's not really happening. I've had a couple, but nothing to speak of. And I've got my Celestial Pearl Danios in this tank, so I'd really like to start breeding them as well, so I can start selling them too. So I want the ability to have lots of tanks to start these little breeding projects and grow out tanks. And like I say, possibly getting some discus in as well. So at the moment I'm fitting it out to try and make use of the footprints, because a lot of my tanks, they only span half the depth of the... what's the word I'm trying to say? So if my racking system is 2 foot deep, a lot of my tanks are only 1 foot deep. So I'm wasting half of that, so I'm going to get them all with new tanks filling up all the floor space, or the footprint rather. Pardon me. So mostly it'll be building out the fish room. I'm obviously doing my little series on aquascaping that I'm trying to show all the things that I'm trying there with the big tanks and the little tanks, and the foods that I'm producing and all that kind of stuff. So that's my short term stuff. I do have a book somewhere, he says. I've got a little ideas book. That's quite a big ideas book actually. Where the hell is it? Okay, I've lost the book that every now and again when I have an idea, I write down a topic of a video that I could do, and I've got about a page and a half worth of ideas of what video topics I could do, but it's just finding time to get around to doing it. So all I can say is keep subscribed, because that's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of them, because I've probably got, I don't know, 50 things that I'm going to make videos on soon, but I can't remember any of them because my brain doesn't work properly. Did you see me bash my head on that microphone there? That's going to annoy me now because I'll use that for work as well. Anyway. Still got the packaging from one of your fish shipments. Oh, did I ship you some fish? What did I give you, Joe? There's several European sellers on Aquabid. Oh, is there? I didn't know that. So apologies. I just it'd been mostly had. I've seen it on American channels where they talk about, oh, get this on Aquabid, or I bought this on that and the other on Aquabid. I didn't realise they had European versions of it as well. Why is it not every American channel I watch has the utmost beautiful planted aquariums? Why is it every not American channel has the most beautiful planted aquariums? Well, I think there's plenty of American channels that have beautiful planted aquariums as well. I mean, I think aquascaping in general did start as a European thing, or it got more popular as a European thing. Obviously, I think it started in Asia and Japan and places like that where it got really popular. But yeah, no, I've seen lots of American channels that have had beautiful tanks as well, but it's something that I've really got into recently. I think it's an extra dimension to the hobby where it gives you something a little bit extra from it. I really enjoy it. I've just bought the new book from George Farmer, he's a UK aquascaper. So I've now got a load more ideas to go out and do things. And so no doubt you'll be seeing me aquascaping by numbers, with me sat with the George Farmer book in one hand and doing the actual thing in the other hand. So we'll see how we get on with that. So Gumtree's pretty good for selling fish too. Yeah, that's true. I have used Gumtree a couple of times myself. So if you use Aquabid and the seller has a globe icon next to them, then they're non-US. I will have to look into Aquabid a little bit more. Spit on a guppy and it breeds. Well, they are prolific breeders, yes, I must admit. Those Endler guppies that I got recently, they are churning out the fry like nobody's business. Yeah, that might be one of my next videos because I'm quickly running out of space for them. Am I looking for 2 foot deep tanks? I am looking for 2 foot deep tanks, yes. So if you know of any, I might be interested. Any width. So one of my why am I struggling with this word? One of my racks is 2 foot deep, So it's 2 foot by 6 foot, and I'm looking to fill that up with 2 foot tanks, whether that's 3 2x2s or 6 2x1s or something along those lines. That's what I'm hoping to do. But it's quite annoying because it's not 2 foot as well, it's just over 2 feet. So I'm thinking of getting some tanks made, because I can squeeze maybe 2 and a bit feet out of it, and still get that little bit extra room. But I don't know, I'm still thinking. I bought quite a few new tanks recently. I've been all over all the classifieds everywhere looking for second-hand tanks, but it's really hard to get enough of the second-hand tanks that I want of the same size, so as I can make the best use of the space. And so some people are so, what's the word? So optimistic in their price that they ask for. It's ridiculous. I've had people selling little tanks like that, which I can get brand new for 25 quid delivered, saying it's a tank and all equipment for £50, and I have to go and get it. And you're like, well, what's all? And all the equipment turns out to be a heater. So it's not even lights or anything like that. It's just a bare tank, a heater, some clown puke gravel. £50, please. Come and get it whenever you want. And you're like, oh, Jesus. Oh, I sent you some shrimp, did I? I hope they're doing well then. How did you get on with the Blackbeard algae issue? Did the fish you got sorted out? They absolutely did. I made a video about banishing it, and an update more recently. They are completely gone. Let me see if I can find you a little picture. In fact, the thumbnail to this, you probably can't see it from that. Videos. What's the word? I've probably archived it now, though. Yeah, I've got rid of it now, but yeah, go back. In fact, I could just look on my own channel and go back a little bit, couldn't I? This is like some kind of YouTube Inception where I show you my own video in the middle of my own video. I wonder if I could get copyright claimed for myself. No, that's the wrong button. Just talk amongst yourselves while I click around randomly. Blackbeard algae banished. That's the video we want. So I'll continue talking to you, but I'll see if I can find the bit where it shows you the before and the after. Oh, I'll have to show you this just purely because I've got the same shirt on. There you go. That's me from whenever it was, 7th of October. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but essentially that's what it used to look like, and in 6 weeks all of that is completely gone, and it's not come back either, and I have some very fat silver flying foxes. And that's what it looks like today. Right, we'll turn that guy off, he's quite annoying. So yes, I felt quite embarrassed, well not embarrassed, but I thought, oh, it's going to be a bit of a... I took it as a bit of a defeat that I couldn't beat it naturally. I thought I could get the balance right all on my own just by getting the lighting schedules right, or getting the CO2 right, or the nutrients right, or whatever it is, but I just couldn't, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So eventually I don't like buying fish to do jobs, but I thought they were quite cool fish, so I got them as well. So I was happy that they were nice looking fish and they have flourished in the tank, and my god did they do a job. I'm annoyed Amazon UK pushed the date back for the book by George. I know, I think I got in at the last second for the signed copies. Well, I was going to say it's a funny story, but it's not really that funny. But I asked for a signed copy. I've left that in the other one as well. So when I bought it, I asked him if he would sign it, and if I wanted them to write, I can't remember exactly what I asked for, but I wanted them to write to the worst aquascaper I've ever seen in my YouTube career, from George, so as I could then make a thumbnail that said, I can't believe George Farmer said this about me, and clickbait the hell out of it. But he just wrote something very mundane in there. I was so disappointed that he didn't tear me to shreds on it. Yeah, but he wrote a very nice message, obviously, but it wasn't clickbaity at all. But yeah, who knows, that'd be nice. But yeah, I saw that the Amazon and they changed the prices as well. I think a few people got quite upset about that as well, but I don't think it was anything to do with what George had done. So if you don't have it already, I don't think you can get it in time for Christmas, because I think it's now back to January, so mid-January, something like that. So that's, which is a bit of a shame, because that'd be a great Christmas present for a load of people. One of the videos that I'm going to be making soon, or I've started doing the research for, is my annual top 5 gifts for Christmas, or top 10 gifts for an aquarist at Christmas. And I wanted that putting on there, because I thought that'd be a perfect gift for someone, but I don't think you'll actually get it in time, which is a shame. I have a couple of 4 foot wide and 5 foot wide coming up soon, as I can rehome, free if you can ship. Oh, PM me if you're interested. Then yes, okay, I might do that. I'll probably forget, but I will try and remember. Yeah, make bigger hints, Jennifer. That's how you get people to buy things. You don't hint. I've learned this the hard way. If you hint for things, you don't get things. You just have to say, give me the thing. This is what I want, and this is when I want it. You've told them outright. Quite right. Do you like any of the other UK fish YouTubers? I watch George and MD Fish Tanks, wondering if I'm missing any other gems. I do. I like both of them, and I do watch a few. I must admit, I don't watch all that much YouTube fish content, which sounds strange as I'm doing that myself. But I do watch. I watch a lot of smaller channels because I like to see what interesting new things people are doing. But of the bigger ones, Mark's Aquatics is the other one on that list that I quite enjoy watching his stuff. I've learned a lot of things from him. But yeah, there's a lot of smaller tanks. A lot of smaller channels are doing quite well. There's one that I've been getting into recently. I'm going to murder this now because I won't be able to remember anyone's name. It's all about axolotls. I think is it Frankie's Axolotls? What's it called? Maybe if I just look on my subscriptions, that'll tell me, won't it? So, of the fish channels that I watch, I'll just read you the list. Frankie's Aquatics, that's what it's called. So I do watch Aquarium Co-op now and again, Michael's Fish Room, because Michael and I are friends. I watch his stuff every now and again. Frankie's Aquatics is the one about the axolotls. I just think he's got a really nice presenting style, so go and check him out. I think he deserves a few more subscribers. Corvus Oskin, I quite like watching his stuff. Steamthought Aquatics, I don't really watch that often anymore, must admit. Fishman, who I think is a guy in Canada, does loads of DIY stuff, but really intricate DIY stuff. It's like the last lot has been building a piston air pump from scratch, so like milling it on a bench and all that. So that's quite interesting. Adam Julian, he's another UK based one. He's like into koi fish, so I kind of vicariously live through him and his koi fish and massive tanks and ponds, because that's a project for next year, is I want to get a pond. I probably won't be able to get a pond that's going to be big enough to sustain koi, but you never know. I essentially want to turn my back garden into a pond, but my wife is less than keen about that. Who else we've got? George Farmer, MD Fish Tanks. Yeah, watch both of them. I watch MD every now and again. Yeah, I remember when I was bigger than him, which is really annoying and really galling. He used to say that I got him started, or watching my videos was one of the reasons he started making videos of his own. Which I used to think was a compliment, but maybe he was saying because my stuff was so terrible, he thought if he can do it, I can definitely do it. But yeah, I like watching his stuff, especially as he's got Discus recently as well. Andy Wood's Cichlids, I must admit I don't watch all that often, but he does have some nice big cichlids. Again, I'm quite envious of these guys with these big massive tanks, because of the way my house is. I can't really get big massive tanks upstairs anywhere, so they would only live in the fish room, and I feel like I'm effectively giving over my fish room to just have one big tank, and it would be a waste. So I can't get the big fish and the stingrays and the big massive cichlids and all that kind of stuff. Quite fond of Pectic. I like watching his stuff as well, because he's a bit quirky. Big Fish Lad, he's one of the guys. He's like my #1 salesman at the moment. He's going around Instagram telling everyone to buy my fish food. So definitely go and check out Big Fish Lad. He's big on pardon me. He's big on Instagram, but it's quite small on YouTube, and it's only just recently started. And I did a collab with him, asking him to help me with my flower horn and give me the flower horn basics, if you like. So he helped me with that one. And Mountain Goldfish is another one. One of the smaller UK channels to check out. And now I'm just realised I'm just reading out a list of channels that I'm subscribed to at the moment. So it's just not going to be all that interesting for you. To see if there's any others that spring to mind while I quickly run through them all. Well, now I'm just really worried that I'm going to upset somebody because I don't mention them, but it's only because my memory's terrible rather than I've got a problem with anyone. I'm going to stop doing this because this is just a spiral of terribleness. Right, get back to that comments. So yes, I do like a number of the UK streamers, but most of my YouTubing is non-fish related, probably. Have you had any aggression from the flying foxes? With each other, yes. They do like to chase each other around and have fights quite a lot, but they haven't touched anything else. One of the things that I was worried about is because the flying foxes are in the same family as the Siamese algae eaters, and they are notorious, or at least the stories are notorious for them sucking the slime coat off Discus. Pardon me. So I was quite worried that that would be a thing, but I'm not seen any of that at all. Random question, do you ever play the guitar on the wall? Is it for ornament purposes? We talked about that a little bit earlier on. It's mostly an ornament these days. I'm starting to get it back out again recently. Certainly with Lockdown 2 coming out. I keep saying it as if it's a film, especially with Lockdown 2 happening right now. We've got a lot more time. Have you tried Aquadip for plants? I have not tried it. I have seen it. I have thought about getting some. But no, I haven't tried it. Jack Watley Discus, he knows his stuff. Yeah, I have had several chats with Gabe. He's a member of some of the same groups as me as well. 3,832 miles from Sheffield to southeast. That doesn't make sense when I say it, but it does make sense. Southeast North Carolina. Can anyone beat 3,832 miles from wherever you are now to Sheffield in the UK? That might be the furthest. Is your mate King of DIY not going to make the subscription lists? Do you know what? I don't even know if I am subscribed to him anymore or not. I've just realised I've spilt krill flake food all over my keyboard. The King and I had some chats, and at the end of the day decided to, no, I'm not subscribed to him anymore. We decided not to continue our feud. Not that it was a feud, it was just me saying I didn't like some of the things he'd done and him getting all upset about it. But yeah, we exchanged many a message and he sent me lots of voicemails and things, but it was getting to the point where it was just boring, so I thought I'll just not watch anymore, and then if I don't watch I can't get upset by anything he does, and if I don't get upset I won't feel like I have to talk about it. Pardon me, I'm going to have to refill my glass with Pepsi Max. Other colas are available, but just not as nice. That's in the vain hope that Pepsi will send me a load of bottles of Pepsi Max. Oops, just dropped that everywhere. Primetime Aquatics, yes, I think he's on my list as well. Cherry shrimp in a 14-litre tank. I don't see why not. There are not many things that will live in a 14-litre tank. But yeah, you could probably have a few cherry shrimp. That might not be too bad. LRB. Yeah, I'm subscribed. Is this now going to be a quiz of am I subscribed to their channel or not? I think I'm probably am subscribed to most channels. Certainly if they're a larger channel, I'm probably subscribed to them just from a professional interest point of view. But like I say, I think it's mostly the smaller channels that I like to keep tracks on. Scott's 125.1 miles. Nope, not good enough. If you're not over 3,000, there's no chance. Oh, we might have a new winner here. Crispy is 3,614. Oh, what was... No, I've now lost the other one. No, Paul was 3,800 nod. That's not good enough. Paul's got Siamese alligators in his Discus tank. They're only interested in chasing each other and scraping algae off everything. Yeah, as are mine. So mine are the flying foxes, but I think it's the same family, and thankfully all good. My glass is full of Oyster Bay. The reason I keep doing this is because I'm using my proper camera as my webcam died, and the power cable sticks out and I can't read some of the messages. So that's why I'm acting weird. That's part of the reason I'm acting weird. Aaron's Aquariums, yes. So Michael Aaron's, he's more of a saltwater guy, and I've got rid of all my saltwater tanks. Although I still check in every now and again, especially as he's now got his own shop as well. And that's what I'm aspiring to, I guess. Yeah, but I like his channel. I watched that for a while. I met him down at Telford a couple of years ago. Simon's 175 miles. Not going to cut it. Right, we've got 10 minutes left max. Otherwise it's my bedtime and I want to go and watch some of the golf. So this is your chance to ask me any questions you want. We'll do it in the last few minutes. Did I put anything else in the prize bag? What was the last thing I put in the prize bag? Oh, well, I think we should put something else in, don't you? So, your Care Solutions, that's my other company. Your Aquarium Adventures food. I'll put in a few bags of food for my own stuff. So we'll get some algae wafers in there. We'll get some of the tropical pellets. See, these are the sticky tropical pellets. These are the ones that you stick on the tank. Brilliant idea for, I mean, even if you don't buy mine, if you get some of these, brilliant for photography and things like that. So if you were taking pictures of your fish, you just take these out, you stick them on the glass. They literally stick and they will very slowly disintegrate. Some of the ones that I've bought in the past, they will either disintegrate immediately or never disintegrate. These ones that I've found they're in that Goldilocks way, they're just right. So I've got these and the colour ones, which are pretty similar, except these have got some anthaxin, or anthaxin is it? Some of the colorants basically in it, brings out the colour a lot more, but these ones are suitable for any fish, so if you have white or yellow fish, you might want to go for these ones. Also those from Proquatics, very good as well, so even if you don't buy mine, there are lots of other options out there. They're the ones I would recommend, because the ones that I've bought from other brands have been a bit slightly disappointing in that they just kind of disintegrate straight away, and you don't get a chance to photograph all your fish, and they don't get a chance to it's not that they don't get to feed off it, but I like to use this so as I can film my fish. So I've been looking for the perfect sticky pellet for a long time, so as I can get all the fish up to the front of the glass, you can get your manual focus on, you can get in there and get some really good pictures. So that's what I use it mostly for, but these ones have got really good ingredients. I don't know what the ingredients are on the ones from Proquatics, because they didn't have any ingredients listed on them, but from a structure point of view, they also work really well. So I'll stick some of these in there, get some of my krill flakes, so I'll stick in a bunch of foods as well, so whoever gets this is going to be able to feed their fish for a year, and the amount of different fish foods that are in there. Oh look, we've got gardening with Ben in. Hello Ben, you remember him from our drunken live stream some months ago. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Ben has a very popular gardening channel on Facebook. He's putting me to shame. I think he's got what, 11,000 subscribers or something like that now on Facebook, but again smaller on YouTube, so go and check out his channel. You'll see him in the chat there. I'm sure he would appreciate a few extra subscribers as well. Oh, we might have a new winner from Noah. 11,525 miles from Palmerston, North NZ. I don't know what NZ is. I never know what any of the American states are. Oh, New Zealand. That's not an American state. Is it? Palmerston, yeah, North Island, New Zealand. What an idiot. Well, I think you've got that sewn up. There'll be very few people either awake or in that part of the world. What time must it be there? Was it about 11 hours different, something like that? Might I ask what your plants are growing up out of the water to your right? These ones. So that one is just a plant. It's not in the water at all. That one I cannot remember the name of, so we're going to struggle with that one. But it's some kind of fern. You'd have to go back and look at the video of me setting up this tank and scaping it, because that's where I put the title of the plant in. But it's not actually in the water either. It's in a little pot, and the pot is kind of half submerged in the water. Doing really well though, because what it does is it sucks up the nutrients. It's just a normal terracotta pot filled with those clay balls you get from IKEA, and then that in there, in amongst the roots of that, in amongst those clay balls. That sits in the water, and then it sucks up all the extra nutrients in the water and makes that do really well. In fact, gardening with Ben, you're getting into houseplants, aren't you? What's this plant called? He's now going to tell me he doesn't know anything about houseplants, but he might know. So they're not fully submerged, they've just got the roots in the water. This one's some kind of, is it Monstera or something like that? Again, in this plant here, this is a cutting. So I just clipped off one of those to see whether or not it would grow the same way that pothos does. So we've got some new growth here. It's got quite the good root system coming as well, so I think that is also going to be really good for growing as an alternative to pothos. Because all I did with that was snip off one of those stems, stick it in the water, and that's what, 3 or 4 weeks worth of growth, and you get a big root system like that. Very carefully try and put that back. Yeah. Yes, I think Noah's won the furthest away game. Well done, Noah. Unfortunately, you're too far away from me to send you anything, because it would probably cost me about 50 quid to ship you anything. Alright, Scott's off to watch the golf. Me too, soon. Thank you for joining us, though. Yeah, Ben says he's not a houseplant man. I knew you'd say that. Any questions about vegetables, you can answer them. Yeah, I don't think it is. It's not the cheese plant Monstera. It's something else like that. But again, I'm not a plant person myself, so I just know that they look pretty when you have them surrounding your fish tank. So I think I'm going to call it quits, people, unless anyone can think of any final questions before we go. I'll do one last round of thanking everyone for watching so far and reminding you to click that like button if you've enjoyed that, because that really helps me out, because it makes YouTube go away and recommend me to even more people. Thank everyone for for joining. I was going to say the super chats, but thank everyone for joining. Thank everyone for clicking that subscribe button that has done so. It really helps me out. Like I say, we've got about 300, well, just under 300 more to go before we do the draw for the Fatsia. That's the one, not Monstera. Yeah, you're quite right. Sorry, I get easily distracted. Thanking everyone for watching so far, and I've done all this already, haven't I? Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you. I don't know. I might do these more regularly. I do quite enjoy doing this, but it's finding time when the kids aren't going to come in and raid me, or I don't have other jobs to do. So that's why you should hit the notification bell. Right.